A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to UBC Lunchtime News on this 19th day of April 2023. My name is Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. We start off this newscast with government through the Office of the Prime Minister has confirmed the body of the fallen Keith Muhakanizi will be repatriated tomorrow on Thursday, the 20th of April 2023. The Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, confirmed this while presiding over the commemoration service of the late Muhakanizi, the Permanent Secretary of the Office of the Prime Minister.
His body will arrive tomorrow. I want to invite you to join us for prayers where the President is expected to attend at Kororo on Friday. We were supposed to have that tomorrow, but because of the challenges we got, we could not do that. So his prayers will be on Friday. So we invite you to come and join us as we pray for our brother. Then on Friday, he will again be taken to Lyantonde. We shall sleep a night there with him, and then Saturday is when we shall put him to rest in his final home. His sudden demise comes barely 2 years after joining the office of the Prime Minister from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, where he served as the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury.
Keith was a clear-headed administrator with transparency. That is something we are struggling with, not only in OPM, not only in Uganda, but in the whole world. But he stood straight. He stood as a white cock when it comes to issues of clear administration, following procedures and guidelines, following protocol, but also at the same time making clear that there is transparency and fairness to all. Let's emulate and keep and guard what he has left, because we need it for us to be able to register progress. You know, once systems are clear, once things are streamlined, once things are transparent, it releases on the issue of discontent in the minds of most especially the junior or the most vulnerable.
The ICT Minister, Lauryn has said that the ongoing investigations over the theft and diversions of iron sheets has not affected cabinet proceedings. He says that the President has chaired cabinet meetings and this issue has not yet been discussed. As Ivan Kaha reports, Lauryn argues that the OPM departments and units need to be reviewed to enable effective supervision.
Three ministers and they attend cabinet. They have not been suspended, they have not resigned, they are still ministers. And you see the so-called panic in the cabinet, it is you creating it in the media, but there is no panic at all. Cabinet is sitting as normally as it ever sits. The ministers being investigated are still part of cabinet, they attend. And there is nothing strange in my view. Maybe the whole office of Prime Minister needs to be reviewed as a structure because it is huge. It has very many departments. And maybe like the Permanent Secretary, accounting officer, it might be too huge a structure for a person to supervise all that huge unit. Because like it has Ministry for Relief and Disaster Preparedness, which is a fully fledged ministry, but under Office of Prime Minister, as a whole Ministry for General Duties. Then you have these affirmative programs ministry for Karamoja, which is a fully-fledged ministry. Then the Royal Triangle, you have Teso Affairs, Bunyora Affairs, Northern Uganda. So I think it is huge. Maybe government needs to look at how you could restructure the whole office of Prime Minister, and probably separate implementation from coordination and monitoring.
That's right. When are the people with the pictures?
Now, in more stories, the Deputy Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, David Luyimbazi, says people should stop apportioning blame on KCCA over the state of roads in Kampala. Luyimbazi's concern follows failed budget appropriations, which he says has continuously suppressed their performance and attracted criticism. According to Luyimbazi, most roads in Kampala are extremely old and need reconstruction rather than maintenance, but their budget suppression has failed them. For close to a year now, no maintenance work have been done on almost all roads around the city, which has made potholes, trenches, broken pavements and open manholes become synonymous in the city roads.
I want to appeal to you, Honorable Minister, and specifically Kampala Capital City Authority. We construct roads for vehicles. We are not constructing roads for pedestrians. We are not constructing roads for border borders. If we don't have ways for places for border borders to ride on, then everybody is fighting for the same space. And that increases on the road traffic accidents in this town.
The Road Safety Action Plan has a budget requirement of 600 billion. How much of it has been provided? And we're talking about road safety. 0 shillings has been allocated, or a minuscule amount. And we're here dining in Serena, hoping to turn around the road safety situation. I think we need to be practical. Was it last week or this week? I was in Parliament arguing for budgets for the city. A city where all decision makers are sitting. They all hit at least 20 potholes a day. And I have to argue for money to fix the roads in the city. It's really unfortunate. So we must be intentional regarding what we are seeking to achieve.
We get into accidents, the more they go into Mulago, and you can, how much do we spend on somebody whose legs are hanged up for 6 months, 9 months? 4.4 trillion is what we lose every year. 4.4 trillion.
We have to go on top of roofs to argue for more money. This should be a no-brainer, but we still take time. We get criticized. We didn't create these potholes. These roads are over 40 years old. A road is supposed to last only 20 years or thereabout. We are not magicians. They need to be overhauled. Then I want to talk about
UBC Lunchtime News. Now, the UPDF Chief Political Commissar, Major General Henry Masiko, in charge of monitoring and evaluation, has inspected the ongoing construction projects being undertaken by the UPDF Engineers Brigade in the eastern region. The team inspected construction works of houses of the landslide victims in Bunambutia sub-county in Bulambuli district.
Government acquired 2,800 acres of land in 2013 as part of its 10-year resettlement program for the landslide victims in the Elgon region. Government was driven by the commitment to end loss of lives in Mount Elgon landslides. UPDF Engineering Brigade embarked on the construction works at Mbulambuti resettlement camp with 75 housing units in the first phase. Over 300 units have been completed and occupied by families affected by the landslides.
For us, we are an internal mechanism to ensure our engineers now who have an extra role to build for others, because previously they were building for us only. They do a good work, they follow government procedures, they stick to what the president expects: cost effectiveness, quality work, and timeliness. So that's what we are ensuring, and we started with the central area and did some inspection there where there are mega projects. We went to the west. We recently were in the north. Now we have started with these projects in here.
The chairperson monitoring and evaluation committee, Major General Henry Masiko, has commended the smart work done by the engineering brigade.
We are now on the fourth phase. We started with the first phase, which had 101 houses. Second phase had 140 houses. Third phase had the 22 houses. And then this is the first, the one that we have just concluded has been the first phase with the 42 houses. Basically, we formulate it into a unit. We call it a unit of house. A unit of house comprises of 1 acre of land. It sits on 1 acre of land. It comprises of a main house which has got 2 bedrooms and 1 sitting room.
Bulambuli local leaders thanked UPDF leadership for their professional skills, tireless efforts, and site discipline.
These houses are so good. If you were here looking at what they were doing, me at first I thought they were constructing stalled houses. Then engineer told me that please no, these are not stalled houses, but the texture of the soil, we must put iron bars. We begin from down, it's almost 2 feet down before you start a foundation.
But we want to inform government and the army that we still have very many people who are in risky areas that need to be settled. If only government would take up and request UPDF again to construct more units, it would be help to decongest. Our fear was the rains are beginning.
After completion of works by the UPDF Engineering Brigade, more than 300 families have been resettled.
Chokulya naye nasigale ng'ensaba kwa abaganda bange abasigala ku Mabale nga tebafunye bizibu ne bataasa. Kati ndi musanyufu nnyo okubeera wano.
The affected victims are from the districts of Bududa, Silonko, Bulambuli, Manafa, and Namisindwa. Sudat Kaye and Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
Well done to the government and the UPDF Engineering Brigade for that work well done. Now, the Supreme Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Mohammed Galabuzi, has asked the Muslim fraternity to continue with good deeds even after Ramadan as reflected in the Quran. This was during an iftar dinner organized by the Mayor of Kampala Central, Salim Uhuru, that brought together common people who he asked to sacrifice the little they have for Allah's sake.
Sumu liru'yatihi waftiru liru'yatihi. Tuyinza okuba nga tusigazaayo ennaku 2 oba 3 tubeere nga tusiibulukuka. Tubakubiriza okubeera nti mu mwezi gwa Ramadan tukitwale nga buli omu waalina essimu nti bwegwako omuliro obeera okola ki? Nammwe mu mwezi gwa Ramadan mukyajiiza amasimu gammwe. Abambala obubi baalekayo dde okwambala obubi, bakyajinga baga nti okutukyajiiza okwambala obulungi. Buli kyonna ekibadde ekibi mu mwezi gwa Ramadan mbakakasa nti abantu babirekayo. Kiki tubagamba? Tubagamba nti n'oluvannyuma lw'okugwa kw'omwezi gwa Ramadan musigale ng'essimu zammwe muzikyajinze. Bwe tunaatambula bwetyo Ramadan libadde essomero kwebyo mbabuulidde bye mwalekayo, kitegeeza nti emyezi egisigadde 11 Katonda bwato bwatwagala bwe tulina okutambula. Bwato bufa magoba omulimu gwonna gubalibwa ku nkomerero. N'oyo gye banaalangirira nti enkya kusaala salaatul Eid mukeere mulye ku mmere bw'omala okulya ssaawa emu ng'oyolekera omuzikiti gy'ogenda okusaalira. Tebaddeyo babuzaabuza nti ffe tuli sekiti, ffe tuli bukulembeze obweyawulidde obuyina ne tayito ez'enjawulo.
It has never happened, and I decided to invite the locals down who are not capable of buying the food, because normally people go for the high class, but I've decided to go to the local people down and invited them. That's why you see a lot of people have come today. And we decided this as a family. We decided it for the good of everyone. We decided it as a Muslim. It is a mandatory. If you can afford, why not? You should provide and give out. So I'm so happy, and I'm sure God is going to bless this dua, because the amount of people that have come, invited and not invited, you can see the food has been enough. I was even worried, but the food has been enough. Everything has been enough.
Now, civil society organizations have underscored the need for increased budgetary allocation to the health sector to address 10 thematic areas on healthcare delivery. This is inadequate human resources for health, stockouts of essential medicines, financing for primary healthcare, and procurement and maintenance of health equipment. This comes at a time when Parliament is scrutinizing the budget for the financial year 2023-2024.
Recently, government revealed plans to deliberately shift the population from a curative health system to a preventive lifestyle that is arguably cost-effective. This was to be realized through a community health strategy with improved access to primary health care services.
Every time procurement of ambulances is on the budget, it falls in the category of unfunded priorities. We still believe that government needs to take a first step to put money into the National Ambulance Service. If you look at the East African community, it is only Uganda and South Sudan that do not have national ambulance services.
As Parliament scrutinizes the current budget draft for the next financial year, civil society organizations show key areas that should be prioritized in as far as delivery of quality health services is concerned.
Parliament needs to address, to ensure that we allocate resources to ensure that the community health strategy is eventually put into operationalization. So we need to allocate additional resources to facilitate primary health care, especially newly upgraded health facilities. We need to invest in strengthening primary health care to include working with the village health teams, capacitating them, among others.
The ministerial policy statement indicates that there is likely to be a wage shortfall of 47.9 billion shillings in the next financial year.
Regional referral hospitals continue to be hit hard, and they don't have money to recruit additional staff. If you look at the ministerial analysis on page 2, you'll see that Gulu, for example, Gulu Hospital, Regional Referral Hospital needs 1.7 billion to recruit staff. Yumbe Hospital needs 4.9 billion. Kawempe, those of you who know Kawempe, it needs 12.3 billion. We are saying we need to go beyond recruit to replace, to recruit to fill the existing gaps, beyond just replacing staff that we have.
Mbarara City Member of Parliament Rita Atukwasa points at the need to strengthen the primary health care.
We need to make sure that it champions to reduce unpaid care work for women, because most of the VHTs or village health teams and health workers are women who get up early to go to health facilities to do their voluntary services, and I think this far the government should be able to reward their efforts.
Despite relatively 78% staffing levels at the national level, staffing levels for specialists remains low. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
UBC Lunchtime News takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after these messages.
with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, under the auspices of the East African Community, will host the 10th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 at the Kampala Serena Hotel in Uganda. Take full advantage of the investment opportunities in the East African region's vibrant oil and gas sector. To find out more on how to sponsor, exhibit, or attend the 10th EAPCE 23, visit www.eapce23.eac.int.
Yokato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100 *1 hash, select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Corporate Games is back bigger and better. Our next outing is on the 16th of April 2023 at Chambogo Sports Grounds. The entrance is for free and we'll have our games running from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Remember, you can be part of the Corporate Games family and experience a number of benefits like annual participation, team building, free exhibition, branding opportunities, full media coverage, and featuring in the Corporate Games magazines. For more information on registration, contact us on 0787-620-611 or 075-872-6887. You can also reach us through our email address corporategamesug@gmail.com. Corporate Games, inspiring corporates through sports.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256 GB storage, G88 gaming processor, and a strong battery to last the whole day. Haha, Toakana.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3 GB from Airtel and 100% bonus on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100 *5 hash to enjoy free data. The new Spark 10 is available in all selected Tecno shops countrywide. Airtel, the smartphone network in partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
Welcome from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. Now into the business scene. President Yoweri Museveni will host a delegation from Serbia to discuss opening foreign markets to Uganda's exports. The chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development, Odrek Rabogo, says the initiative targets export markets.
The Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development has a concept of trade representatives in Uganda's targeting export markets. Therefore, basic research would promote Uganda's products. President Yoweri Museveni will host a delegation from Serbia to discuss bilateral trade agreements.
So they are arriving and they are presenting a request to the government of Uganda to sign bilateral relations, trade relations, so that that market can open. They also are going to invite the president of Uganda, to visit his counterpart, President Vučić, that's how they call him, in June, to open a Uganda trade hub.
The committee will open up hubs to market Ugandan products in developed countries.
The idea is you go and look for a country with people that can afford more, right? You go to the US and look for, say, New York, and get on a street, get a good location on that street that has many people walking through. You design a shop for coffee. So people come in, the attraction is actually the coffee. But when you enter this coffee shop, you have beautiful pictures of Uganda.
We bring in skills and capacity building
within our bigger consortium of associations, we want the people to start thinking for Serbia. We want them to start thinking for Europe, for America. That as they produce, they are looking at the end market.
And standards and compliance or enabling environment, that is how we have to think. We have to think that how are we going to enter this value chain, not only today, but for tomorrow.
President Museveni will also launch a $20 million fund to support key export sectors.
So initially the government of Uganda is putting in $20 million, and it is to support the main sectors: tourism, horticulture, coffee, beef. We have 13 products that are actually targeting, and that will be coming in from the government of Uganda. This is seed money,
which will do both value addition and trade. And so tomorrow we are hoping that we'll sign an MOU to actualize this fund.
This fund has come at a time we are in crisis. That's for sure, the whole world. But the market outside, for example, your place people, you have seen that there is rationing of food in London. Those used to be our masters. But if we don't use this chance to be the masters.
So I think access to funding for the private sector is very important, far from the traditional method of applying for funds from a bank, and it takes 2 months, 3 months, 8 months. You'll have all your contracts for export suspended.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
With only 36 months left to the anticipated commercial production of oil and gas, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, PAU, says it's critical to refine the local content in relation to the requisite market demand. The authority argues that training institutions must be keen on building capacity in legal matters, environmental regulations, research and development to enhance local content development. We have more details in this report.
Ahead of the annual Oil and Gas Expo, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda is advising that capacity development of local content that targets both public and private sector players in the multi-billion-dollar capital oil and gas industry is of essence, with only 2 years left to the planned commercial production.
IPSK is contributing to one of our key regulatory areas, which is research and development. Their courses are research-based, and as you know, in the sector, new things are coming up, new technology, new ways of dealing with different challenges, and we are very hopeful and very positive that the institution is going to actually contribute a lot.
This was after the National Council for Higher Education granted the Institute of Petroleum Studies in Kampala other awarding degree status that include postgraduate training program in oil and gas, environmental health and safety management, among others.
Our approach to teaching and learning process will be deliberately designed to address the challenges of the postmodern student and create sustainable solutions for a fast-changing world.
According to officials, this new development will go a long way in addressing a major challenge for the energy sector in the region.
The idea is to provide a new body of information. One thing that is very crucial for growing institutions of learning, for industries actually, is the ability to study and create new knowledge. The Institute of Petroleum Studies is daring to step into that area.
The arrival of oil rigs used in drilling of oil wells in December 2022 has since accelerated activities in the sector, particularly in what is being described as the development phase. Mary Namkose, Vincent Wamundu, UBC News.
And into sports, Uganda Cycling Association expects a splendid turn-up and quality competition at the Labour Day bicycle race that will be hosted at the Lubiri in Mengo. John Barnes Sentamu has more on this report.
Uganda's top bicycle riders are bracing for the upcoming Labour Day bicycle race that Uganda Cycling Association has confirmed for 1st May at the Lubiri in Mengo.
tulinamu be light ne ba juniors bajja kuvuga emirundi 10 okwetooloola olubiri.
This race comes at a time when Uganda is preparing a team for the World Cycling Championship in Glasgow, Scotland.
I call upon and I request those people using the border this time, no border in the race, and we have already contacted the police, traffic officer, even our organizing committee. We need the supporters, but we don't need the border in the race to disturb the race.
It's expected to be a huge turnout for the race that is likely to attract riders and fans from far and wide.
I take this opportunity to call people from the world, residents of Busika, residents of Norway, residents of Ramanika to come and be part of this rally, which is going to be held on Labour Day at Luwiri here in Kampala. Please come and register and also participate. But also we hope, given the love that we have for this game or this sport, we hope to have our own rally, which will be organized within our region. We will.
Cycling has been an oldest sport in the country, and we want to make sure we continue promoting it like any other country. So coming there, it will be fun and it will be a chance to explore more opportunity to develop the cycling sport.
Some of the riders expected to grace the event include Davis Nyoita, Florence Nakagwa, Mary Alepa, Umaru Bakashaba, Aziz Sempija, Veronica Ndagire, and Rachel Mukoda. John Burns, Sentamo, UBC News.
Well, that wraps it up for UBC Lunchtime News. Do enjoy the rest of the afternoon and UBC's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto.
UBC